Hey there, welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new around here, my name is Mel and I love to share cooking videos on this channel of meals that I make for my husband and I every single day. Today we're going to be making some really budget-friendly yet very flavorful meals. Some of these were new to me and some of them I just made up on the spot, but either way, let's go ahead and get started and I will show you how to make them. First up today, we're going to make this potato, pepper, and sausage skillet. It may not look super appealing, but it is so good. To begin, I'm just going to go ahead and take these air fryer red potato bites and cook those according to the package in my air fryer. I had never seen these potatoes before, so I went ahead and bought them and we were going to give them a try on this night. Now over to my cutting board, I am going to slice up one orange bell pepper along with one red bell pepper. I'm just slicing those and then cutting them down the center to make them a little bit smaller. And then I'm also cutting up one yellow onion here as well. For the meat, you can use any type of kielbasa or smoked sausage that you prefer. I like to use the turkey smoked sausage. For these, I'm going to cut them down the center and then cut them into half moons. Now moving over to my nice hot cast iron skillet, I'm going to go ahead and add that sausage in there and let those brown up for a few minutes. Once those have some color, go ahead and remove those out of your pan. Add a little bit more oil in your pan, let that heat up, and then add in the peppers and the onion. To season this up, I'm going to be using some of this all-purpose seasoning, about a teaspoon or so, along with some of this Kinder's Buttery Steakhouse seasoning, about a teaspoon of that as well. I love both of these seasonings and they go so well together, so if you've never tried them, I would definitely suggest doing so. And last but not least, we're also going to add about a half teaspoon of onion powder. Give this a good mix together and let this cook on your stove until the onions and the peppers are tender. This should take about 10 minutes or so. Once they're done, I'm just going to go ahead and add the sausage back in along with the potatoes that I have cooked in my air fryer and give this a really good mix together. Now I'm just topping it with some Colby Jack cheese. I'm going to let this melt down for about 5-10 minutes and then it's ready to go. Here is what my finished plate looked like. I did go ahead and serve this with some baked beans, but like I said, this is not something that looks super magnificent. However, it's really easy to make and is loaded with flavor. That smoked sausage really puts off a lot of good flavor. Along with those seasonings together, I think they work so beautifully. I was very surprised. Even my picky husband loved this meal, so overall this was a win. Up next, we're going to make some double-decker burger tacos. To begin, I am just taking 1 pound of ground beef and breaking that up in my skillet. To season this ground beef, I'm adding in about a half a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of minced dried onion, a fourth to a half teaspoon of salt, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I did season this before it was fully cooked, that way the seasonings could really cook down in there and the minced onion could get soft. Once that's all done cooking, if you need to drain it, go ahead and do that. I'm also going to chop up a little bit of lettuce, red onion, and tomato. To build these, you will need a tortilla. I'm going to take some of this stadium style cheddar and add that to the tortilla. Spread that around, and then you're going to also add in 1 hard shell taco in there. Try to get that taco shell as center as possible inside of the tortilla, and then close it up in there. As you can see, I probably could have gone with some street style tortillas and it would have fit better in here. However, the tortilla being a little bigger than the shell was actually great because it really helped to hold the toppings on. I added a scoop of our meat in there, and then I also added some shredded cheese over top of the meat. And then added all the toppings that I wanted, so I added the tomato, lettuce, red onion, along with some burger sauce, but you could also add pickles, ketchup, mustard, whatever you prefer on your burger, put it on this taco. To go along with this, I just made some french fries because you know french fries and burgers. I just want to say that this meal was so fun. I loved this meal. It was a little hard to pick up with one hand here, but this was a different kind of meal that we don't normally have, but it was still so simple and so delicious, and I think that you could customize these for anybody in the family and everyone will love them. Last but not least, we are going to make some taco zucchini boats with rice. I started by preheating my oven to 375 degrees, and then over to my cutting board, I just chopped up half of a yellow onion. Normally to make these, I would cut a large zucchini in half, and then I would use both halves to make 2 zucchini boats. However, right now my store only had these little tiny zucchini, so I just went ahead and worked with them. I cut off the 2 ends and then sliced off one of the sides, trying to keep most of the zucchini intact. Once I had one side cut off, I did just take a spoon and I used that to clear out the center of the zucchini. If you're working with a larger zucchini, this process is a lot easier. Trying to not destroy these little baby zucchinis was really hard, but it actually still worked pretty decent in the end. Once you've taken out the center, it should look something like this. You just want to make sure that you have space to add the filling. Today we are just going to do a taco stuffed zucchini boat, but you can make these with so many different types of fillings. To start, I'm just adding 1 pound of ground beef along with that half of a yellow onion into my skillet, and I'm going to let these cook in here together until they're cooked all the way through. Once it's done, go ahead and drain any grease out of the ground beef, and then you'll add in 1 can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. And you'll also add in 1 packet of taco seasoning. I'm just going to get this mixed together and let this sit on my stove for a few minutes to make sure that taco seasoning is nicely absorbed. On the side, I did go ahead and cook a package of this taco rice. If you're just making zucchini boats, then you can go ahead and mix all this rice in with the ground beef for your filling. However, since my husband does not like zucchini, I went ahead and kept this separate. That way he could have plain tacos and I could have these. So into this little bowl, I just mixed a little bit of each one. That way I could make my filling for myself, and then I added it into my zucchinis. You will just want to place your zucchinis in a baking dish with some edges on it. That way if anything falls out, it doesn't fall into your oven. For me, I was able to fit these 3 little zucchinis in an 8x8 casserole dish, but you may need to use something bigger like a 9x13 if you're using some bigger zucchinis. Once I had those all stuffed, I went ahead and covered my dish with some aluminum foil and stuck this in my oven for about 20 minutes. When those come out of the oven, go ahead and remove the foil and just use a fork to see how tender your zucchini is. You just want to make sure your fork can easily pierce through it and that you can cut them easily. If they don't feel tender enough for you, go ahead and stick them back in the oven for another 10 minutes or so. Mine were perfect, so I went ahead and added some shredded cheese on top. I'm just using some Mexican style shredded cheese. Once those were covered, I just stuck that in the oven for 5 minutes, long enough to let that cheese melt down. Here's what they look like coming out of the oven. I just love zucchini boats. My dad made them once when I was younger, and I have loved them ever since. Here's what the finished plate looked like in the end. I did take some of that rice and add it to the side with a nice big scoop of sour cream. I also topped my zucchini boats with a little bit of hot sauce, but feel free to add any toppings that you like on there. This summer, if you are given some zucchinis or you have a lot of extra zucchinis in your garden, this is a really great way to use them up. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I really appreciate you being here and spending time with me in my kitchen. Don't forget to leave me a flower down below in the comments to let me know that you watched all the way through, and I will see you back here on Wednesday with a new video. Bye!